Hey guys, how about this? Bubba's sitting outside. The sun's shining nice and it's a nice day today, so we thought we'd read a book outside. We thought that would be fun. And look who's sitting next to me. I have a good friend over here. I'm going to read the Berenstain Bears Go Out for the Team. Look at this. Baseball. Woohoo! But the Indians lost. Uh-oh. Duke sees a squirrel, I believe. I think that's why he jumped down. Brother and sister bear, who lived with their mama and puppy in the big tree house down a sunny dirt road deep in bear country, enjoyed the changing seasons and the sports that went with them. Football and soccer in the fall, basketball and ice hockey in the winter, and their favorite baseball in the spring. And there's a picture of all the different sports to show you all the different ones that they kind of like to do. Hope you can see it okay. As soon as brother and sister felt the first warmth of the spring sun, they got out their trusted ball, bat, and gloves and began limbering up for the season. They played pitch and catch and practiced batting. Why, they even studied up on the rules of the game. Pretty soon, some of their friends came to join them in the baseball fun. After a while, brother looked around and said, "Hey, I think we have enough for a game. Let's go over to Farmer Ben's back meadow and choose up sides." See how they were practicing? They were doing some practicing and they want to go over to the other farmer's place. That should be fun. Farmer Ben was a good neighbor. He had been allowing cubs to play baseball in his meadow for years. Of course, the grassy meadow wasn't a real baseball field, so there were a few problems and some special ground rules. There were no foul lines, just base paths worn by year after year of cubs running the bases. So there were a lot of arguments about foul balls. There was a rule against sliding into second base, because second base was a rock, and any ball that was hit into the duck pond in left field was a ground rule double and an automatic timeout while they fished it out. But arguments, rocks, and duck ponds didn't worry brother, sister, and their friends. They chose up sides and started a game. See, they're getting ready. They're going to play that ball. Sister had done some growing since last season, and when she went to bat, she whacked her first ground rule double. All the cubs and even the ducks were surprised. And her knowledge of the rules came in handy when Cousin Freddie forgot to touch second base on his way to third. She called for the ball, tagged second, and declared him out. He made a big fuss, but she pointed out that those were the rules. "Isn't that right?" she asked Farmer Ben, who was watching from the sideline. "Right as rain," said Father Ben. See where it went in the pool over here? Okay. The game moved right along until brother hit a ball all the way into the next field, and Farmer Ben's got it. Uh-oh. "Back so soon?" asked Papa, looking up from his paper as brother and sister trooped back home. "Yep," said sister, holding up the ball. "Game called off on account of Farmer Ben's goat chewing the cover off the ball." How about that? Can you imagine playing ball and a goat gets a hold of your ball and then you have to quit because you don't have any more balls? They're all chewed up. I don't think that happens, does it? Papa was pretty impressed when he heard about brother's hit and sister's ground rule double. "Seems to me," said Papa, "that you cubs might want to think about playing some real baseball on a real baseball field. It says right here in the paper that the Dare Country Club League is going to be holding tryouts pretty soon. You might want to sign up." "Now hold on," interrupted Mama. "That's a high-powered league over there, and those tryouts involve quite a lot of pressure." "Pressure?" asked Sister. "What do you mean?" "You'll be competing against lots of other cubs, and not everybody's going to make the team," said Mama. "But you both play very well," she added, "so it's up to you." "Won't hurt to drive over and have a look," said Papa. See where they were talking, and now they're going in the car. They're going over there to the to try out first of all to play ball. "Did you have to try out when you played ball?" "Wow," said brother when he saw the Cub League field. It was a real field with fences and foul lines and real bases and grandstands and everything. I think I've been to a baseball game where they have all that. Wonder who I'm talking about. And the teams wore uniforms. Brother and sister signed up right then and there. They have a picture of them with their uniforms on, and they signed up to play ball. Oh boy, that's going to be fun. They got ready for the tryouts by practicing. They practiced fielding and hitting. Mama showed them how to choke up on the bat against fast pitching. They even practiced bunting and base running. But as tryouts day drew near, they began to get a little nervous. Try to calm down, said Mama. It's only a game. Besides, the worst that can happen is that you won't make the team. You can always try out again next year. No, that's not the worst that can happen, said Brother, looking gloomy. The worst that can happen is if Sis makes the team and I don't. I consider that a sexist remark, snapped Sister angrily. Well, not completely, said Mama. After all, Brother's older than you, and he's very proud of his baseball ability. I see what you mean about pressure, said Sister. Boy, that's something, isn't it? Because boys and girls play on the same team. Finally, the day of tryouts came. There were Cubs all over the field, and league officials were with clipboards and sunglasses so you couldn't see what they were thinking. Each Cub had a number, and the officials moved around the field watching the Cubs and making checks on their clipboards. Talk about pressure. Look at all the kids there, all those bears with the numbers on. Boy, there's a lot to play ball. Brother and Sister were nervous at first. Sister missed an easy ground ball, and Brother swung too hard at bat, missed the ball completely, fell down on the seat of his pants. But as the tryouts continued, they both settled down, and they did a little better. Brother remembered to choke up on the bat. He hit a good single and went to second base when the fielder bobbled the ball. Sister fielded some grounders well, and once when she was batting, the catcher dropped the third strike, and she ran to first base even though she had struck out. There was a big fuss, but an official was watching and said she was right. How do you like that? Look who's sitting on me. I can hardly move here. He sat on my hand. I had to get my hand out. Well, said Papa, the next day, don't you think we ought to drive over and check up? I guess so, said Brother. May as well, said Sister. When they reached the field, Brother and Sister ran to the bulletin board. Talk about pressure, said Papa, mopping his brow as he and Mama waited in the car. Indeed, said Mama, fanning herself. They were the ones that were nervous, not the kids. At last, Mama and Papa heard a shout as Brother and Sister burst out of the crowd and around the bulletin board. We made it, they shouted, jumping for joy. There are 4 teams in the league, shouted Sister. The Cardinals, the Blue Jays, the Orioles, and the Catbirds. We both made the Cardinals. Terrific, said Papa. Congratulations, said Mama. Look at them running. They were so happy that they made the team. And both on the same team. On the day of the first game, the Cubs looked elegant in their uniforms, and Mama and Papa sat up front in the grandstand. Brother was up to bat against the Blue Jays. The pitcher wound up and threw a fastball. Brother watched it go by. Strike 1, called the umpire. That was no strike, screamed Mama, waving her hat. It was wide by a mile. Call yourself an umpire? Mama, please, his sister from the sideline. Calm down. And remember, it's only a game. Isn't that true? It's only a game. You strike out, that's okay. Sorry about that, said Mama. Then she straightened her hat, sat down, and enjoyed the rest of the game. And that was the end of the story. How about that? That was a nice story. I hope all you guys like to play baseball or listen to baseball. The Indians played ball yesterday, but I think they lost. I didn't get to watch it yesterday. So maybe another day. Maybe they're playing today. I'm not sure. We were busy today. You know, Dan and I, we cleaned up the backyard. What a mess. Lots of leaves and dirt and sticks. Duke had sticks everywhere. Oh, and another thing, Great-Grandma, when she was young, she played right field. She played baseball, too. Wasn't baseball, though. I think it was more probably like softball. I'm not sure. But she played right field, so you can just remember that your great-great-grandma played ball, too. Toodaloo!